Okay, so I wanted to have another honest conversation. I feel like I've been saying that a lot lately. But when you have someone in your life who's been diagnosed with a chronic medical condition, a serious medical condition, um, you know, I feel like you go through this whole phase of emotions. And lately I've been dealing with a lot of irritation, anger. I feel like you almost go through the stages of grief, even though you haven't lost that person. I kind of feel like you go through the stages of grief after getting that initial diagnosis. And what I'm talking about is Paul's chronic kidney disease, end stage renal failure diagnosis. So it's obviously something big that you have to deal with, and it's something that's not easy to deal with. Um, but I feel like lately I've just been really irritated and angry and frustrated, not with him, but with the dialysis center, because I feel like there's a lot going on that I don't really want to talk about, in great detail, but there's an insurance issue, and the financial person who works at his dialysis center sent a letter to his caseworker who gave the letter to him. It's really an email. Letter, email, same thing, really. But she sent this email out, and she basically said that Paul got the wrong insurance coverage, which doesn't cover dialysis. And obviously, that's a huge thing that needs to be covered since he gets dialysis 3 times a week, and it's a very expensive treatment. We will just say in about a month and a half of dialysis, he accrued about $100,000 worth of medical bills, and that is just dialysis alone. That doesn't include medications and everything else that they've been supplying him, because the medications that they've been giving him at dialysis are sample medications. So he hasn't had to pay for those, but just the dialysis treatments alone in a month and a half was right around $100,000. So seeing that in order for him to survive, he is going to have to stay on dialysis for the rest of his life or get a transplant. Those are his two options, by the way. He either stays on dialysis for the rest of his life or he gets a transplant. Those are the two. Anyways, the financial person at the dialysis center sent this email saying that he got the wrong insurance coverage and that he needs to talk to Medicaid and see what's going on. So he called Medicaid, and he has jumped through so many hoops. Everything that they've asked him to do, he's been doing. And Medicaid basically told him that he has to go back to the building that he went to and see if they can put him in another program, which I don't understand. If you told Medicaid before that you were getting dialysis and that's why you needed the insurance to begin with, then why would they put you on something that doesn't cover dialysis? So there's some type of communication breakdown going on. But anyway, it's this financial person's job to handle these issues. Don't just sit there and get an attitude with him, because it was the wrong insurance. He didn't know. He did what you asked him to do. And for you to just get angry and upset because it was the wrong insurance coverage, he didn't know. He has no idea. And he doesn't really have the time to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth to Medicaid, sitting there for hours and hours and hours. Not only that, but we don't really have extra money laying around right now to spend on gas for him to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth to the stupid Medicaid office to even find out if there's another program that he can get in, which will cover his dialysis. He not only has Medicaid, but he has Medicare as well. Um, I don't know. I just feel like I have been really irritated with the dialysis center, and I've been taking it out on him. I don't really mean to, and I feel really, really bad when I do. Like I get really irritated and I'll just have like these snippety outbursts. Like he'll say something to me or he'll ask me a question and I'll just like snap back at him and be really rude and just like, I don't know how to explain it. If I could give you like a perfect example, I would. I can't really think of something right off the top of my head right now, but it's just really irritating, and it's hard because as someone who is there to trying to support someone who's going through this serious thing, it's hard to have to, one, watch them go through this serious medical issue that could kill them. But on the other side of the coin, it's also hard because I have my own medical conditions that could kill me, and I feel exhausted sometimes, but then like I feel bad if I'm not being strong for him. And I feel like I'm not like doing enough if I'm not helping him with everything. And then like sometimes I feel like dealing with his family, I feel like they think I enable him to make bad dietary choices, which I don't. I just feel like he is a grown man. He's in his 30s, and he makes a lot of great choices, and yes, there are times when he eats things that he shouldn't, but he knows what he's allowed to eat, and if he's going to eat them, then he's going to eat them. And there's a lot of people, I talk to people in this online support group that I'm part of for people who are on dialysis and their families and caregivers, and I go in there and I chat with them, and we basically talk back and forth about different ways that we can support each other and different topics. And we give each other advice. And, you know, some people said that their husbands and, you know, even one of their sisters, they eat really shitty stuff. Like one lady's husband went and ate an entire pizza, and when you're on dialysis, you're not supposed to be eating like cheeses and tomato-based products and things like that, because you have to watch your phosphorus, you have to watch your potassium. There's so many things that you have to watch when you're on dialysis, because your body can't handle certain things anymore, because your kidneys don't work, so they can't filter that out. And even with dialysis being like a false kidney or whatever, it can't always filter out those things. So you're making it harder on yourself when you're not following the diet. But I just feel like sometimes his family thinks that I enable him, and I really don't. I try to follow the same diet as him because I want it to be easier for him. You know, we look at the labels on everything. We look at, you know, ingredients. We look at different percentages of potassium, sodium, everything that's on the label we look at and we read, and we spend so much time, and it's just so irritating because I feel like I just get higher and higher in the irritation level, and it just irritates me so much that I end up taking it out on him, and I feel so bad. And then, you know, like I can see in his face where he just, you know, it's like he doesn't understand what he did wrong, and he didn't do anything wrong. It's just me trying to process this whole thing. And then it's like I don't want to lose him, and I'm afraid that he's going to die, because that's a huge possibility. And so like when I see him sleeping all the time, and, you know, when I hear him, sometimes he'll like make noises like he's in pain at night. And so it freaks me out, because right before he went to the hospital with kidney failure, he was sleeping all the time. He was making those noises. and it just really, really scares me. I know this video is getting really long and I'm going to cut it off, but I don't know. I'm sorry for just like venting that all to you, but I really needed to get it out. And I don't know. I don't know. That's all I have to say. Again, I'm so sorry for making this video so long, but I really did need to get it out there. And I don't know if I'm actually going to post this video, but obviously if you're watching it, then I did choose to post it. And I will talk to you guys again soon.